of our H.E.A.T family. One of the ones that you rarely ever see, except if you're watching TV. He trains out in the States, and he's not out very often. So, everyone, this is Brendon Rodney. He was part of the Canadian Olympic team this year, part of the team last year at World Championships. They won a bronze, and they also won a bronze this year at the Olympic Games. So, saw him in and around, after he finished high school, he was in and around the Toronto area, running all those meets and stuff, and I was just like, this kid is too talented to be here. Way too talented. He had no idea how talented he was. And he frustrated me to the point where at one of the indoor meets, I went up to him and I said, listen here, I'm tired of seeing you here, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you that I saw happening to all the other kids in that group in the Toronto area. That being, see them every week, every year, 5 years later, to see the same guys every week, every year, not doing anything. So I threatened. I told him, I said, listen, if I see you here next year, I don't mind going to jail. I'll kill you. So the following year, he took it seriously, was gone. And this is where he is now. Okay? So when I tell you guys that there's a lot of talent in this group that you haven't recognized yet, and when I'm trying to tell you these are the possibilities, talked to him 7 years ago and asked him, he wouldn't even have thought about this. He would have been thinking about it. Yes, I'd like to do it, but he probably wouldn't have thought he could actually do it. So sometimes it's just that little nudge.
I'm Brendon. Brendon Rodney. I went to school in the States. Did 4 years of college. I got my undergrad and master's. So I did that in 4 years. I run 200s, Canadian sprinting. Came back from Rio just recently, so George kind of mentioned me. I guess things are kind of familiar. Any questions I'm here to answer, because I don't mind answering questions.
Where did you grow up?
I live in Brampton. So.
What was the journey from going from Brampton to the States? How did you get recruited in that regard?
Well. So see, this is where the story kind of. I didn't focus on education, so I lost out on a lot on just not focusing on my education. I did a 5th year, and I used to not go to class. So schools that were recruiting me stopped recruiting me because of my grades. So I had to go to school in Canada for 1 year. So I did college in Canada for 1 year, and then I took school more serious because I said I don't want to be held back because of my academics when I know I'm smarter than them. So from going to school in Canada for 1 year, then moving on to going to school in the States. After that 1 year, they seen that I was athletically talented, but academics, were on the rise. So then that's why I got recruited. Transition wasn't that hard just because I lived in a major city. I lived in Toronto, and I go to school in New York. So that transition wasn't that hard. The hardest part about it is just being away from what you're not used to. So I think that was it. I think if I could go back, the only thing I would have done different maybe was take my schooling more serious from 9 to 12. But other than that, kind of worked out for my best. I mean, once I did get to school in the States, I graduated just this year with a 4.0, so an A average.
Nice. Awesome.
What's the name of the school?
LIU Brooklyn.
LIU Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I brought the medal. I know everybody wants to see that. I mean, I'm not gonna.
You got the wooden case too with it?
Yeah, that's the case that comes with it.
Wow.
Nice. I don't know who wants to see it, but I'm not gonna put it on my neck. Anybody?
Come on, put it around. See how heavy it is? Oh, hold on, I gotta get it.
Ask away.
Question.
How do you deal with the nerves?
This year, actually, the Olympics, I had the hardest time dealing with the nerves.
Yeah.
Going into the 200, that was probably my hardest time. But Usually I have my coach around, and I didn't have my coach around that time, so it's just more when I get into races, everybody gets nervous.
Right.
So it's just about being confident and knowing that you can do this and you're supposed to be there doing it. So every race I go into, no matter if it's against Bolt or if it's against myself, if I'm running a time trial in practice, I get nervous for those things too. But it's just about just doing what you can do. You can't really control what others are doing, so you just gotta focus on yourself, and that's what kind of keeps the nerves down. I ask, even if you ask Usain Bolt or Ashton Eaton, those guys have world records, they say they get nervous every time too.
What's it like being an Olympic athlete, like living in the village and stuff like that?
You know what? The village is it's kind of, if you go away to school, it's kind of like going away to school. So you're just in a dorm room where you're with your teammates and you're hanging out, chilling, and then you eat and you do just regular stuff. That's it. The Olympic Village is more just to stay relaxed and stay focused. Family, friends, and all those things are big distractions when it comes to major meets. So you kind of just stay around people that have the same goal as you. So everybody's goal is to win. So they're gonna do the right thing so they can win. So it's just
being
basically
an Olympian, it's much different, isn't it? Like being an Olympian, that's really different. That's a standard.
It's a standard, but when you get to the actual competition, it's doing what you've been doing to get there. So you don't want to go and say, I'm an Olympian, I got to do Olympic stuff now, when you've been doing Olympic stuff to get to the Olympics.
That's right.
So you hold yourself at a higher standard, and you kind of conduct yourself in a better way, but other than how you conduct yourself, everything's still kind of the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Did mom and dad go there too?
My dad did. My mom's not able to fly right now.
Right now?
Okay.
Yeah, she was sick.
Is she doing better?
Yeah, she's doing better now.
Yeah.
But she's still not clear to do so.
What about your friends? Everybody wants a picture of you?
My friends are, they're the people that keep me
Yeah.
at
Or
one
you are.
level.
They don't want a photo.
They don't want a photo. My friends
They
are
know
like,
you.
my friends will come up to me and be like, yo, you're not fast, you're not good. So
Those are your good friends.
yeah, those are the guys that,
You're gonna keep forever.
yeah, so we'll go to a track meet and they'll tell me I'm not fast, and then I'll be like, I gotta prove it to these guys I'm not fast. So and then at the same time when I'm down and I need somebody to bring me up, those guys are the guys that are like, let's go, come on.
You know how fast you are.
So it works in both ways.
How old are you now?
24.
What's your next thing? Olympics, maybe?
I'm gonna
4 years?
Definitely 4 years, but for now it's next year at the World Championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a job? No, so this is your job?
Back down to school.
Well, I have a job, but I got the job before the Olympics, just cause to get a job.
Okay.
So I have an assistant manager job at Planet Fitness in New York, but I'm gonna quit when I go back and just focus on track, and then I probably will go to school just to get some different classes in.
So what about money? What do you do?
Well, I'm paid by Puma.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
So
you're
one of the Puma boys?
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Tell us. Yeah. Congratulations.
Next meet, what is it?
my next meet,
Yeah.
it'll be indoors. I'm not sure,
Okay.
but the next major meet will be World Championships next year in
And we're
London.
in London. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so that will be the goal. So, we're gonna break the world record though. You heard it here first. Canada's gonna break the 4x2 world record. But yeah, nothing special. You're asking about
Nothing
diet.
special.
Yes, nutrition, diet.
So when I got down there, I had access to free pop and burgers, fries, and all those things. So my first year, I left here at 150. I was trying to gain weight anyways, but I couldn't. All I drank was pop for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I ate fries. And I gained like 30 pounds that year, but I should have been gaining that weight anyways. I was underweight for my height. So but when I cut it out, it helped me so much more. I drink a lot of water now, but I still eat a lot of McDonald's. So I have a balance here and there. I try to eat fruits sometimes. Me and nutrition is kind of like the worst example, even though that's what my degree is in. So
Your degree in nutrition.
Really? Oh my gosh. That's priceless. So what do you want to
That's
be at
huge
the
for
end
you.
of all of everything when you're all grown up?
When I'm done, I want to open my own like physiotherapy clinic, but I have to go back to school for that.
Right.
And to go back to school for that, I'd have to stop track. So it's kind of like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But hopefully, and after the next Olympics, hopefully I win 2 gold medals or 3, and I can
You won't
quit
have to worry
track.
about that.
No, I'll quit track, go back to school, and then finish that. But I definitely want to go into physio just because I'm around sports my whole life, so I know I can help other athletes, other people.
At what point do you start teaming up with the other runners in your relay? Like, when did you meet DeGrasse?
When did I meet him, or
Yeah,
when did
'cause
we practice together?
When did you, I guess, start planning on?
Well, me and Jay are always good friends, so like we'll talk on the phone every other day or something like that. So I think our relay, we really don't need to practice as much as others because we're all friends. We're all good friends. But we do practice, like our first practice this year was in April or March, and then we practice different times throughout the year.
I was gonna say, because it's pretty far from New York to LA, right?
Well, he's in Phoenix. Well, he's in LA right now, but he was in Phoenix. But we met up in Florida, and we all practiced. Me, Aaron, Akeem, Andre, all of us were there. And then we just find time throughout the year to get our practice in here or there.
And you knew him here as well? Like, you knew all the guys here?
Yeah, I knew all of them. So, me and Andre were roommates all of last year, every meet.
You have the same coaches?
No, we don't. But like last year at Beijing, we always make this joke. He poked me with a baton while we were running because I couldn't hear him. So he got close enough to me to poke me with it, and then he's like, "Take it!" And I took it and I ran. This year, he didn't run out, and I was like, "Drake!" He's like, "Oh!" And so we're friends like that. So like we know each other, and we can do things like that. But if it was just some random guys, it probably wouldn't have worked out.
No.
So I guess it works.
Yeah. Is training different for indoor versus outdoor? Like, I mean.
Yes and no. I want to say in Canada, it's more different than if you went to school in the States. So if you go to school in Canada to train for indoor, you train for like 60 meters, 300 meters, 600 meters. In Canada, in the States, we train 62 we train for regular events. So it's not different. The only hard part about it is if you go to a major school, you're gonna peak for indoor nationals, you're gonna peak for outdoor nationals, and you're gonna try to peak again for your Canadian nationals. So by the time you get to your major championship, you're tired.
Yeah.
So like even me, I didn't peak for indoors. I peaked for outdoors and Canadian, and I tried to peak for World Olympics, and I was tired. I did 60 races this year, whereas professional athletes do 20, 25.
How many hours do you put in
Weekly?
Yeah.
All right. So before I went to school, I probably practiced 2 hours a day every day. Well, 4 days a week. When I went to school, we practiced 5 to 6 days a week. We practiced 2 hours in the morning in the weight room. Then we come back and run in the evening, 2 hours again, 5 days. And then on our off days, we have to still jog. So Wednesday and Saturday, we still go out there and jog, stretch. And sometimes we're supposed to do it on our own, but sometimes he doesn't think we're doing it, so we have to do it as a team. And that's still 30 minutes, 30, 45 minutes.
What's your
Does your coach allow you to train shirtless?
Okay, no. But because of where we train. So it just depends on the area. Like if you were training here and no one else was here, more than likely they would probably let you train shirtless.
No, we know. That's why I asked the question.
But like in New York when it's 42 degrees outside plus humidity, like he has no choice but to let me train shirtless because I'm gonna die. But I don't think it ever gets this hot out here. So
Oh, it got hot this summer.
yeah, but on a usual training day, this is me. I wear long pants regardless of it, just because once you take off your pants, you start to get cold, and that's how you get injured.
What is your personal best 200 time?
1996.
When they're evaluating you for performance,
Yeah.
do they videotape you and then break it down like in super slow in order to get you to make small corrections, or?
It all depends on the athlete and the coach. So like if the coach is a person that can break stuff down and videotape it, then they'll do it. But if they're not that type of coach, then they probably won't. And then some athletes overthink things, so they won't do it for those athletes. And whereas athletes that they're saying they're doing it, but then when they see it, then they realize, oh, I'm not doing it, and now they can make the corrections. So it just depends on the athlete or the coach. Me personally, I like to see things, but my coach doesn't do that, so I just have to suck it up and, work. But yeah.
What made you want to start track?
I didn't. One of my coaches in high school was just like, yo, just come do it. And then I just didn't want to go home because home is boring. And then there was like girls around. So those are my three reasons. But then I realized, I can get a free education out of it. Plus, I can go to travel places for free. So even if you don't ever make the Olympics, but you make teams and you get to travel different places, you may never get to go to those places if it wasn't for track. I would never go to Russia, probably never go to Scotland if it wasn't for track. I know I wouldn't go to those places. But I actually have tartan pants though.
Good. And what's your favorite place that you've been because of track and field?
My favorite meet was Beijing last year. China is nice. China has a lot of different things to see. Then it would be Russia, even though it's not a nice place, but it's a nice place. Like, people aren't that friendly there, but there's a lot of things to see. And where we were was by the Kremlin, so it was a nice view, and there's nice stuff.
The athletes.
Well,
How'd you get that?
Stuff in their
How'd you get that?
or their
They have a code, like a book that
Just starting.